Hello and welcome! In this quick guide, we're going to walk through everything you need to know about prescription weight loss treatments. We'll cover how they work, what the options are, and what you can expect from the whole process.
Right, let's just start by saying this out loud. Managing your weight can be really tough. And if that's how you're feeling, please know you are absolutely not alone. It's something that millions of people across the UK are dealing with every single day.
Just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, have a look at this number. The NHS reckons that around 1 in every 4 adults in the UK is living with obesity. So yeah, it's a really common health issue, which is exactly why it's so important to get our heads around it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover today. We'll start with your weight management journey, then look at obesity and the treatments, how to get started, explore the different options, and finally, we'll talk about setting yourself up for success.
All right, first up, your weight management journey. Let's start with the basics, just to make sure we're all on the same page with some of the key terms.
So what exactly is obesity? Well, the World Health Organization defines it as having an excessive amount of body fat that could pose a risk to your health. The key thing here is that it's recognized as a proper medical condition, not just about the number you see on the scales.
And one of the main ways this is measured is using something called the Body Mass Index, or BMI for short. You've probably heard of it. It's basically a measure that uses your height and weight to see if you're in a healthy weight range. A BMI between 25 and 29.9 is considered overweight, and 30 or above is classified as obese.
And the reason all of this matters, of course, is because living with obesity can increase the risk of developing other serious health conditions. We're talking about things like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. So you can see why finding effective ways to manage it is so crucial.
Okay, so now that we've got the background, let's move on to our second section, understanding obesity and treatments and how medication can help. Now, this is probably the single most important thing to remember. These clinically proven medications are designed to support you. They're not a magic bullet. They work with a healthy diet and regular exercise, not instead of them. Think of them as a helping hand on your journey.
So what are we actually talking about here? Well, generally, there are two main types of treatment. You've got injections, like Wegovy and Mounjaro, which work by helping you feel fuller and reducing your appetite. Then you have tablets, like Orlistat, which do something completely different. They actually reduce the amount of fat your body absorbs from the food you eat. Kind of cool, right? Two different paths to the same goal.
Right, Section 3. If this is something you're considering, you're probably wondering, how do I even get started? Let's break down how the online process typically works.
Okay, so one of the first and most important steps for getting treatment online is safety. Reputable services need to verify your BMI accurately, and many now use some really clever tech to do this, like an AI system called FitXpress. It uses a live photo to get accurate measurements, which is brilliant because it means everything is tamper-proof and allows for safe online prescribing.
And the whole process is usually really simple. You'll start by filling out an online consultation. Then you'll get a link to do that photo verification we just talked about. Once you've submitted your photos, a UK registered doctor reviews absolutely everything to make sure the treatment is suitable and safe for you. If it is, it gets dispatched.
Okay, Section 4. Now we know how it all works, let's dive into the different treatment options and take a closer look at the medications themselves.
This table is super helpful for comparing the main injectable options at a glance. You can see you've got Wegovy and Mounjaro, which are both weekly injections, and then Saxenda, which is taken daily. It also shows you the different active ingredients and, importantly, the average weight loss seen in clinical trials for each one.
So let's just focus on a really common question, Wegovy versus Saxenda. What's the deal? Well, the biggest difference for you day to day is how often you take it. Wegovy is just once a week, whereas Saxenda is a daily injection. Plus, as you can see, they have different active ingredients, and clinical trials have shown Wegovy might lead to a higher average weight loss.
And here's another big question that comes up all the time. Is Mounjaro more effective than Wegovy?
So what's the answer? Well, some studies do suggest that Mounjaro could lead to greater weight loss for some people. But, and this is a really big but, everyone's body is different and responds in its own way. So there's no single best one for everybody. That's why talking to a healthcare professional is so important. They can help you figure out what's right for you.
And that brings us to our final section, which is honestly the most important part of all. Let's talk about building a real foundation for long-term success.
I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Successful weight loss comes from combining balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, and a positive, realistic mindset. It's a reminder that any medication is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
So yeah, it really boils down to these 3 pillars of success. First, improving your diet, focusing on good, nutritious food and watching your portion sizes. Second, getting active, and the key here is finding something you actually enjoy doing. And third, and this is so often overlooked, is focusing on your well-being. That means setting goals you can actually reach and, just being kind to yourself.
And when we talk about getting active, what does that actually mean? Well, the NHS recommends aiming for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week. That sounds like a lot, but you can break it down. And it doesn't have to be a hardcore gym session. A brisk walk, a bike ride, even some energetic gardening all counts.
And that's a wrap. Hopefully you now feel a bit more clued up and empowered about the whole thing. We've looked at the basics, the treatments, and what it takes to succeed in the long run. So really, the only thing left to think about is, what's the first step you're going to take on your journey to a healthier future?